morning, everyone, and welcome to our October Mornings with Mayesh show. Guys, it's October 29th. It's almost the end of the month. It's almost Halloween. So excited to have you guys here with me. I am Yvonne Ashton. I'm the marketing director here at Mayesh Wholesale Florist, and today I will be here with Shean Strong answering your flower questions. You guys sent in a ton this month, so we're going to have to split it up because otherwise we're going to be here for over 2 hours. And, you know, while I think we would all love that, it's just not possible. So I understand. I won't be offended. So we're gonna split it up for you guys. While we are getting started, I'm just going to let everyone get in, give them a few minutes. And while we're all waiting here, chit-chatting, I'm just going to catch you up on a few things that we have going on. Also, while I'm talking, be sure to say hello in the comments below. Let me know who you are and where you're from. We love seeing that. Sometimes it's all across the country. Sometimes we have some people from other countries over the ocean. Super exciting, right, guys? It's a small world after all. I love that about social media. It connects us all. So yes, go ahead and say good morning. While we are talking, if you have any questions or comments, feel free again to put them in the comments. We will try and cover as much as possible. Like I said, we have a really packed show. If you have questions that you want to add to a future show, go ahead and email those over. Hopefully you're getting my emails and you can reply to one of those. Otherwise, you can head over to www.mayesh.com, go to our contact page, and you can send that over. I'll get those as well. What else do I need to say? Also, if you're new to the show, the replay, always available on our blog. I do our show notes from today's show, so you can read those if you're a reader. You can watch the video replay, and then I also turn this video into a podcast. So if you're into podcasts, then be sure to wait for that. That takes me a couple of days to get done, but that will all be up on the blog, mayesh.com/blog. All right, guys. Today's show has been brought to you by our Mayesh Design Star Flower Workshop Tour. Guys, we only have one more date left, November 11th and 12th. It's an all-levels class. We're heading to Columbus, Ohio. It's actually like about a half hour north of Columbus, but it's at a beautiful space. You guys need to go and check that out. I will post the link for you in our comments. We have a handful of seats left, so they're not going to be around for much longer, and you'll get to hang out with me and Shean all day long and learn from a really great guy. Seriously, you guys are going to love him. And most people love him, right, Shean? But for sure, when you meet him in person, you'll fall in love. So much good stuff that happens in our workshop. And if you aren't sure, we have blog recaps of pretty much everything. You can see photos. We share everything. We're very, very transparent about everything. So, and if you have questions, of course, let me know. I will answer them. And I know Shean will answer your questions too if you want to reach out directly to him. All right, guys, we have a ton of really exciting things going on. And again, I'm not going to go into too much detail because we have a really big show today. But our new website has launched, super exciting. So if you have a moment after the show, go to mayesh.com, check it out, brand new shopping experience. It more mimics kind of what we are all used to when you're shopping on regular old websites. Our flower library is there. You can now build quotes out of that. So that's super cool. And then also we have a brand new product planner to help you plan how many stems you need to buy. And again, create quotes to send to your sales reps. So just trying to give you guys tools to make your flower buying as easy as possible. So check it out. I also wanted to let you know that you need to grab your tickets for our first, not my first, but the first ever Flourish by Curate conference. It's happening November 18th and 19th. Yours truly will be there. I'll be talking about marketing. That's my jam. And I wanted to let you know that we have a promo code. If you use Mayesh as the promo code, then you save $50, and you need to register by November 4th. So it's going to be closing soon. Grab your ticket. And this conference is going to be really great because it's really focused on the flower business. So that way you can grow, maximize your weddings and events, and just learn from some of the best people. There's tons of speakers. So again, check out that link that I put in our comments. after the show, of course. And you can see all of the greatness that's going to happen over those couple of days. We also, November 13th, have a Putnam and Putnam book signing event happening at our Houston branch. Super exciting. It's they're going to be doing some demos and talking about their book. You'll get to meet them. Really great people. Also, last but not least, April 2020, we are heading to the Netherlands, guys. We have two amazing designers, Sue and Hanneke. It's going to be a blast. Keto was amazing, like crying amazing. So I'm imagining Netherlands, we're going to do it again. So be sure to check that out. And again, I'm going to post the link for you guys so that way you have it. But just so you know, we're like pretty much halfway sold out, which is we've only had the tickets live for, I think, maybe a month. So they're going to sell out. So just grab those if you're thinking about it. And again, lots of people have questions, and that's totally okay. Just shoot me an email because I'll be the one answering them if you're wondering who to ask. Good morning, Penny. Thank you for sharing. Good morning, Gina. How are you? Denver, Colorado. Nancy's here. What's up, lady? Carmen, good morning. And I see Emily and Marie left some questions. So this is all lovely. I'm going to bring on Sean so, again, we can get started. Good morning, Sean. How are you?
Good morning. How are you, Yvonne? I'm doing well. Thank you.
Thank you. So welcome, everyone, to our Mornings with Mayesh show. And we're going to just get right into those questions. So like I said earlier, we have a lot of them. The first one up is from Liz, and she wants to know, how do you get out of a rut of ordering the same flowers over and over again? I love that question.
Yeah, that seems to be a hot topic right now. People always feel like they're using the same thing over and over again, and they want to change things up. First, I think look at Instagram, look at Facebook, look at Pinterest, find some inspiration, see those really cool flowers that you want to work with. Also, your Mayesh reps are artists as well. They are people who want to give you beautiful flowers and give you beautiful products. So I would definitely say communicate with them, talk with them and say, this is what I'm looking to do. This is kind of what I'm thinking. And then, they're wonderful about doing amazing pulls and sending you photos of things. So definitely utilize that as a tool to make sure that you guys are getting really cool, unique items instead of using the same, 6 flowers over and over again.
Yes. And, if you're definitely a visual person, which I feel like most of us are here, our Instagram page, we try to post a good mix of design and actual flowers. And then also all of our local branches have their own Instagram page. So they're always posting what's fresh and hot in their cooler. So that way, especially if maybe you're learning the flowers and you're not quite sure, you just know the basics. That's a good place to go and check out. Yeah. Love Instagram for that kind of stuff. Good. Okay. So this next question is from Anne. She says, I would like to grow Lysianthus in a suburb of Portland, Oregon, and I'm wondering where I get starts, or are they called plugs? I don't know, but I asked her to know. She said, I've read that starting them from seed is very hard. Any advice you will have will be helpful and much appreciated. Yes, this isn't anything that I personally know about. I wasn't sure if actually Sean does, because I don't think you're a farmer. Are you, Sean?
Yeah, no, I'm not a farmer in this at all. But again, I think the thing about Mayesh is what I love is there's so many people who have so many different flower backgrounds that these answers can be easily found. So I think we've got to find that one.
Exactly. So I have my very good friend, Deborah Prinzing. She's been on the show with us before, and she knows pretty much every American grower there is to know. So I figured if someone was going to know, it would be Deborah. And she had a great answer for you guys. I'm going to read it to you. She said, Lysianthus is definitely hard to start from seed if you don't have grow lights, a greenhouse, and a heat map. There are plugs available from a few sources, so they're called plugs. The challenge may be minimum ordering quantities from the suppliers. One thing I've heard from farmer florists is they gather several people to go in on an order that meets the minimums, but you also get the best pricing per plug. So places to check, she gave us, a couple of links. So I will put them in the comments for you. They will, of course, be also in the show notes. So yeah, she gave a link for a place to check, and then also like a Facebook group that you can check out as well. And so I hope that helps, and good luck with growing, because that I would just kill.
That's a whole nother level of like, good for you,
right?
That's amazing.
And if anyone else here, because I do know that some people that watch are kind of farmer florists and grow their own flowers. So if you have any tips for Anne, go ahead and send those over to her. That would be lovely. Thank you. All right. The next question is from another Yvonne, and I get super excited when I meet another Yvonne, or Yvonne, depending on who you're asking on how to pronounce it. The latter is more proper, but that's okay. Okay, so her questions, she has questions.
Yeah,
okay,
questions.
So yes. Are there any tips for working with Amaryllis as a cut flower in centerpieces or even wedding party bouquets? Wondering how long I'll keep them fresh in a bouquet or oasis. Do they arrive from Mayesh open, or what suggestions for coaxing open if they are still closed? Suggestions for companions is in a non-Christmas event where the holiday theme is to be avoided.
Yeah. First of all, I love Amaryllis. I think it's a beautiful show-stopping kind of flower.
Yes.
Yeah, they're just wonderful. I've found that a lot of soft stems don't like oasis particularly. Amaryllis, they tend to split up, almost kind of like anemones. Their stems tend to split. So I find working in chicken wire and putting them directly in fresh water allows their life to be a little bit longer. When you're working with them in bouquets, I've only done them in bouquets one time, like this past December. And they held up pretty well. They weren't anything crazy. But then again, I also keep my bouquets in water until photos, and then they go directly back in water after photos, and then right before everyone walks down the aisle. So they were pretty hydrated. So I would say definitely make sure that they are hydrated. And when you're ordering them, you're able to tell your Mayesh reps, I would really like these fully blown open, or I want them a little bit more closed. So they have that kind of I don't know, they can pick and choose kind of what they're going to be able to send you. And so you can kind of request, how you want them to look whenever they arrive. But I would always say, if you're trying to get something to open up, warm water is always, kind of like a lukewarm, room temperature water is always the best thing to get those things opening up.
Right.
But yeah, that's kind of what I would say on Amaryllis. They're beautiful, and they're a beautiful, like you said, non-literal holiday flower. It's more elevated design, in my opinion, as opposed to using a poinsettia or something that's so known to be holiday. Yeah, absolutely.
Amaryllis are amazing. We've worked with them a little bit when we used to do a lot of the shows. We did a really cool display with Amaryllis, and they hung it upside down with wire and then filled the stems with water, which was pretty cool.
That's ingenious.
Yes. And then Shelly, back in the day, this video I think is pretty old, but she did a video just talking about some tips and tricks for Amaryllis in particular. So
nice.
To put them in foam, she would tape just a little bit of Oasis tape on the bottom. She also inserted some discarded skinnier stems up through the stem to kind of hold it in case it flops over, it breaks, or things like that, but it's still a good bloom.
Yeah.
So I put the video in the comments. Be sure you check it out. It's a really great video, has a lot of great value for you guys.
Yeah, and if you guys aren't familiar, I feel like, a lot of people don't really use Amaryllis, but I feel like it's kind of unknown. The stem is really hollow. It's like this big, and you have this membrane around. So the center, you can literally, like you said, you can put stems or whatever you need to do, kind of support that a little bit more. Yep. But they're a pretty big stem, so be kind of aware that when you guys are designing,
they're very
having
big.
room in your vessel for them. So.
Yeah, exactly. All right, next question is from Karen. She wants to know if you have any tips or tricks for increasing longevity of dahlias, especially cafe au lait and ranunculus when used in boutonnieres.
Yeah, so cafe au lait, they are beautiful and they are stunning, but I will tell you, dahlias do not like oasis. They do not they love fresh water. Any single time that, and if y'all have some tricks out there that I don't know about, please let me know. But anytime I've ever used dahlias, I've always made sure to put them in a water pick before I'm using them anywhere just so that I know they have clean, fresh water because they are finicky little ladies. They want their fresh water. So I always try to make sure that I'm putting those in fresh water whenever I'm using them. And when it comes to ranunculus and boutonnieres, again, it's a soft kind of stem. So it's kind of just a basic kind of metric. If it's a softer stem, it's going to need a lot of water constantly. So I would say keep them as fresh as possible. Keep them cool. You can keep them in like little bud vases. When you're transporting them, you can put them in a little oasis block to keep them hydrated until right before you're about to pin them onto, the bridal party. But yeah, they're just those soft stems. You just got to make sure that they're really, really hydrated and had enough to drink because you got to think about it. They're going through a lot of trauma. They've been cut, they've been shipped, they've been reprocessed, they've been doing all this stuff. So as long as they're kind of like staying healthy and being rehydrated, that's gonna be the best bet. But yeah, dahlias, keep them in fresh water and they'll be good for you.
Yeah. Dahlias are definitely a tricky one. We get questions about those all of the time.
Yeah.
And so I have a really old video, guys, for you with Lindsay, and she shows you some of the dahlias that we have available, and then she talks about dipping the stems in kind of like really, really hot water, almost boiling. You cook it till like cooked asparagus type of
a little texture or consistency of it all.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. and so she talks about why that's recommended and shows you kind of how to do it. So if you want to check, it's scary. I don't know why.
It's a big risk because you're thinking like, I'm boiling my flowers, but certain like hellebore, they love it too. They like hot water. Some of those flowers just need that little bit of extra, exactly. Craziness, that extreme.
Yes, I'll leave that in the comments for you, and you can experiment with that and see how it works. But that is what we've been told. All right. So our next question is from Penny, who, by the way, is always watching. Thank you, Penny, and always sharing, and just one of our like amazing ambassadors. I would like to call her that. Yes. Okay, Penny. Shean, what inspired you to be a designer? From there, what inspired your grand designs? We need a show of mechanics for grand structures.
Thank you, Penny. I so appreciate those kind words. I, like a lot of floral designers, I got suckered into helping a friend with their wedding. And so it just kind of grew from there. A couple of years ago, it was almost 6 years ago, a friend of mine asked me to help with her wedding, and I ended up booking 2 weddings, at that wedding. I think I charged like $100 over the cost of floral. Like, I didn't know what I was doing.
Right.
There was white hydrangea and curly willow everywhere. So I didn't know what else to do. And I started falling in love with it. And from there, I just started growing and started just, posting online and then, working with Mayesh and all these fun, beautiful products. And yeah, that's just kind of how that all happened. But I guess when it comes to the design component of it all, I pull inspiration from my clients. I kind of pick up on what they're wanting and give them my subtle, little bit of zhuzhing to whatever they want to do. But yeah, that's kind of how I got started with all of this. So
yes.
Yeah.
And obviously we don't have time to do a kind of a mechanics show for big structures, but we do have videos, and Shean's done quite a few of them. So definitely go check that out. You can go to our blog. I'll put the link here for you guys.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's a hanging installation I've done. I've done a couple arches. I have a couple of like other bigger pieces. But you guys, honestly, when it comes to large installs, chicken wire, zip ties, and water picks, if you can't do something with those, then it can't be done. So I always, go back to that and making sure that just those mechanics are really, really strong. Put something on a pole, make sure your base is good, and you can build whatever you want.
Yeah. Yes. And you've done some really beautiful ones. So
thank you.
Check that out, guys. Check it out. I'm sending you all over the place today, I feel like.
I love that, though. That's so wonderful because people keep they'll go back and ask questions, and it's nice to have a spot to turn them back to.
Exactly. You always turn back to Mayesh.com, really, is what my answer is for you all.
There you go.
Okay. Tara has a question. She said, I'd be interested in the mechanics used in a tall tabletop arrangement. I make a fairly simple but very pretty one. I'd love to see the next level ones or even just another version of the simple round tall arrangements. What say you, Shean Strong?
Sarah, I think, and I'm assuming that you mean like a loamy dish kind of situation, like where there's the big kind of like roundy or kind of arrangement on the table. I recently just did a video where I just did some metal stands. It was my October video.
Yeah.
For Mayesh Design Star, and I just took like a metal stand and I put a piece of Oasis on there. If you're wanting to go foam free, you can do a loamy dish with some chicken wire, but it shows you the mechanics on how to build something big. Again, chicken wire, zip ties, those are going to be your best friend when you're doing anything like that. And honestly, I mean, you guys can go in your backyard and just forage something. You don't have to actually grab flowers, but you can just start playing with the shape of trees or playing with what sticks or branches, whatever it is, and kind of building up the shape and getting practice that way. And then when you add the flower in, it's just going to make it that much prettier. So, I mean, I might do another video later on, forever down the road on a cool big installation when it comes to tabletop mechanics. But yeah, right now, pretty much what I have on the Mayesh Design Star website or YouTube channel right now, same kind of mechanics for something large and big. So yeah.
And of course, I shared the blog post for this. So
you are a sharing machine today. I love it.
My fingers are busy with the keyboard. Okay, so yeah, check that out, of course, after the show. Don't leave us yet because we still have a lot of really great questions.
Yeah.
Okay, so our next question is from Marie. She says, for extending the life of the arch build, do you insert the greenery on site or do you build it along with the flowers and into the cage? For most arches, how much is recommended to build on site?
Yeah, so I typically build all my arches on site. And that's something that you guys just need to make sure you factor in, like labor, make sure you guys have enough people to handle that. Occasionally, I'll put greenery on beforehand. If we have like a lot going on and, greenery can just kind of sit on there, it's fine, not a problem. But then I'll do flower on site. I typically don't use like any cages of any sort. I will just use like chicken wire. Again, y'all, I'm going to beat this into your head. Chicken wire and zip ties, they're wonderful. But yeah, I use those and I build them on site and I allot in my time schedule to make sure that I'm able to get there. And if, I only have 2 hours to set up, then I need to bring, 6 people, 7 people. If I have, 8 hours to set up, I don't need as many people. So it really just depends on the venue, what they're going to allow you guys to build, like the time that you guys have to set up, and then also the scale of the event. So, but yeah, typically everything's kind of done on site. Yeah, that's what I like to do. That's kind of how I was taught and how I've done it, and I like it. So
yeah. Very good, very good.
Yeah.
Our next question is from Pamela. She says, "Oh my gosh, I could really use corsage help. What are your preferred mechanics? I love those flat bracelets in theory, but they're hard. Do you wire, glue? How soon in the timeline do you build them? Please help. Corsages are my nightmare."
Yeah, corsages, people love and hate them. I have a freelancer who loves building them, and I'm like, I don't want to do them if I don't have to. Yes. But I'm going to show you guys something that I use. This is kind of like a metal cuff right here. This is something that you can get on if you go to my Instagram account, you can look under supplies and you can see where I order these from Amazon. You can also get them at like Michael's or Hobby Lobby. Yes, y'all need to start carrying these things. But I use these right here and they're wonderful. And I will hot glue a piece of ribbon, kind of catty corner, onto this right here. So I hot glue that down. And then I use Floral Oasis glue. Is it the adhesive. Yeah, it's wonderful. That's really the only thing that I've found that will keep flowers, onto something like this. So use the Oasis. I put a little bit of greenery there. Then I will cover this back over to cover those mechanics. And I just start topping this off with flowers on top of it. I'll cut this ribbon down a little bit, but that way it looks a little bit more expensive. It looks nice. It's something they can have as a little heirloom later on. Moms can wear it. And this is my daughter's wedding, whatever it might be. It's just a sentimental little thing as well. But yeah, hot glue on with the ribbon to the actual cuff. And then from there, making sure you're using the Oasis adhesive because that's going to be your best friend. I don't know of any other product that holds flowers to anything else. So yeah, I hope that helps you guys.
I like the cuffs a lot too. They're nice. That style. Mm-hmm. Very good. Let me just look through. I know Jamie says corsages are Corsage struggle is real. Yes.
There's a, I think I have a picture of a Corsage on my Instagram account. You guys can go check out and you can see kind of what it looks like when the final product is done. But they're just a little bit elevated and they're not expensive. They're like, $5, $6 for this little thing. So yeah, it's wonderful.
Very good. A question related to an earlier question. Sean, what is the difference of using a cage versus chicken wire? Why don't you prefer cages?
There's no reason why I don't like cages. I just really like chicken wire. It works for me. In a constant kind of environment where we're constantly trying to be as sustainable as possible and recyclable as possible, I feel a little bit nicer using chicken wire if I don't need to use Oasis. But yeah, that's just my preference. I'm not against Oasis by any means, but I prefer chicken wire because it allows me to have a little bit more height and it kind of gives me a little bit more movement in my arrangements. Whereas Oasis is sometimes a little bit more sturdy. Things kind of don't have as much freedom to move. I don't know why I wiggled my body for that, but
yeah. It's better to look at when we're moving around.
Yeah, there you go.
That's why. Okay. Our next question is from Christy and Caitlin. They're asking, when is it best to do a Mayesh pull versus ordering the exact number of stems and flower types you're looking for? For example, how do you ensure your Mayesh pull will have enough stems for what you need to do? How do you handle billing a bride when doing a Mayesh pull? How many days in advance do you plan for processing and designing before an event?
Whew, Christy, y'all got some questions. So first off, I think it's very important for you to have a great relationship with your Mayesh rep. Yes. I have 2 reps that I work with depending on the scale of my weddings. And they are wonderful because they allow me, they know me. They know what flowers I like to work with. They know that if there's anything cool and unique in, they're going to send it to me because I want that. So it's really, really helpful to make sure that you have a great communication with them. They are going to help you with your whole entire process. If you know that like you have 19 centerpieces and you have a large installation and whatever, and you say my budget's only, $2,000, well, they're going to be able to maximize that and give you, you might not have the most expensive looking flowers, but you're going to have a lot of quality or quantity of flowers. You'll have great quality as well. But I think that's beneficial is making sure that you have a great relationship with them, talking with them and letting them know what you're needing. And that's going to really allow you to utilize these Mayesh pools. They're beneficial for so many people. But yeah, I think that's kind of the best advice. I'll tell you, the first time I used it, it was a big risk. And I was like, I don't know if I can do this. I'm just going to send them money and they're going to send me something. But it was honestly like Christmas morning. And it was like so exciting to see the beautiful flowers. And I had plenty of product. I had enough for what I needed. And then, it's a learning curve. So if you, do it one time and you're like, this is wonderful, then you can know next time, well, I probably need more roses or I need more, whatever you might need. Mm-hmm. So that's helpful. And when it comes to, billing your bride, I say just kind of do the same thing that you're doing now. If you send them a quote or whatever it might be, that's how you're going to operate in that sense. If you send them a quote for $3,000 and, your Mayesh pool is $2,000 or whatever it might be, same exact thing. So I don't know if that's helpful in that sense, but I think it's just like you do the same kind of thing, that you're doing already for your quotes. Yeah, and I guess in the last question, when it comes to processing, typically if I have a wedding on Saturday, I either get my flowers on Wednesday or Thursday, and they will hydrate for about a day. And then Friday I will design, and Saturday we deliver. So that's kind of how I operate. I know some people green out on Thursdays and then they do flower on Friday. I do everything on Friday. We just kind of wake up early in the morning and get that all done. So yeah. Exactly. I hope that answers your question, Christy and Caitlin.
I think you did a great job on there. And for all of y'all that are listening and you're like, what is a Mayesh pull?
Yeah, true.
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Good call.
I have a link up on the screen. I shared it in the comments and you just go and check it out. So what it really is we have a form that you fill out. And we do like a custom pull for you based off of whether it's a color palette or inspiration. We also have some inspiration, my Mayesh poll, so you can even see what that looks like. But if you've looked at our Instagram before and you see those pictures of the big carts filled with flowers, we call that a my Mayesh poll, your Mayesh poll.
Yeah.
And your rep works with you. They're really good with this, and it helps, it gives them a little creativity back in their day too. Most of our people are very creative people, and
yes,
they want to be more than just an order taker. And so this is what that does for them. And you guys work together. You guys are partners, and this really is the epitome of all of that kind of coming together. So they know what is the freshest, the best performing flowers right now. They know. They're your eyes and ears, at the branch in the cooler, and this gives them a way of giving you the best of the best. So
absolutely,
and
absolutely.
they'll work
fun. They're enjoyable. Like it's seriously. And the great thing is typically will send you a photo of your flowers, so that's always fun for me because I get a video of them overseeing everything, and I send it to my client, and they freak out. They're like, "Oh my gosh, I love that!" It's like. That's a fun another little element you can add to creating that engagement with your client. So
yes, it's very cool. So the link that I sent you has an infographic that's super cute, and then we also created a video to show the process for anyone who was like, okay, I still don't get it. So check that out. It's very cool. We had so much fun putting this all together. So I hope you enjoy it, and let me know. We love feedback. So if you do it and it's great. Awesome. If you do it and it's like, okay, I'm not really sure what happened here, definitely let us know. Let your rep know. They want to help you.
Absolutely.
Make everything go as smooth as possible. Very good. All right. So thank you for that great question, Christy and Caitlin. Our next question is from Sarah. And she has a big intro, but I included it because I love this. I love these kind of stories when you guys send these over to us, and it just makes all of this just feel so good. Okay, so she says, hi, Team Mayesh. I'm a new floral designer, and stumbling upon your YouTube channel and your podcast has absolutely been the most amazing thing that has happened to me in this entrepreneurial and artistic journey. I can't stress how much I've learned from you and all of the incredible floral designers you showcase. I'm truly blown away by the community you are nurturing, and the confidence you have given me through the knowledge and advice you share has been so empowering. I truly want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. With that being said, I do actually have a question. I am a bit unsure how to deal with pricing and policy of rentals or the hardware of my designs. Are there any general industry standards for pricing vases, candles, other decor items? And if they are treated as rentals, how do you allow customers to take flowers with them if they want to keep any arrangements? So yeah, Sarah, welcome to Team Mayesh and our community. I'm so glad that you found us, and thank you for sending in your kind words. I love it. I love hearing that kind of stuff. Gives me the feels. I don't know about you, but
yes,
gives me the feels.
Well, it's nice because so often we just get questions. It's just like, well, how do you do this? Well, it's nice to get the feedback of like, thank you so much for answering my questions. So thank you. We so appreciate that, Sarah.
Yes, awesome. So I know this is kind of a big answer too. So we'll get into it.
Absolutely. So kind of, Sarah, the idea of like this industry standard, I think that always kind of limits you. So I think that it's important to make sure that you're kind of doing what works for your business. So I think that's the first thing. So I guess by industry standard, what you mean is there a formula, or is there kind of like a principle that you should be following? And I say kind of, again, whatever's working for you. If you own a vessel, for instance, and you want to rent it out to your client to make an additional, whatever, you can rent that thing out for $5. You can rent it out for $50, whatever you're wanting to rent it out for. And that's something that you're able to capitalize on because it's your product and you're able to reuse it over and over again. And if you need to get an item or you want to do a markup on it, whatever you want to do, I think it's about making sure that you're, again, following your own business model and your business plan. So if you decide to, go and invest, $5,000 on a bunch of different vessels and you want to re-rent those back out to clients, absolutely, you can charge that little bit of extra to kind of, make that money back. When it comes to like candles and stuff, typically, candles are a hard thing to kind of rent because they start looking crazy after a while. You can probably get like 1 or 2 weddings out of like a pillar candle or so. But that's something, again, if you want to do it at cost for them to kind of make sure that your prices are, reasonable, or you're able to do like a markup, do a 3% markup or I guess 300% markup or 500% markup, whatever market you're in. So I think that's something that you also have the option of doing. Now, when it comes to your actual wedding day and them wanting to take the flowers, I always bring like disposable, like little plastic containers. I get them from like Home Depot, and they're just like little planters. That way my vessels come back to me, and if they want the flowers, they can, take them. I also have in my contract with my bride, if she wants us to donate the flowers to like a restaurant or something, or if they want to take them home. So that kind of alleviates that confusion on like, grandma taking the flowers home. And it's like, well, no, the client wanted me to, give them to so-and-so. So that's also like a little tidbit there for you. But yeah, I think definitely invest in they're like 5 cents a piece. They're so cheap. That way there's something that they can put the flowers in and take them. But yeah, when it comes to rentals, again, that's something that if you own it, you can rent it for the price that you paid for it, or you can rent it for cheaper if you really want to get that client. It really depends on what you're trying to do with that client. So I hope that answered your question on that one.
All very good stuff. And, also, Sarah, if you have questions, I did a show with Allison Ellis, and she is with Real Flower Business, and she has a course called Flower Math. I'll put the link here. I don't know if it's open or how that all works, but definitely check her out because she's very systematic on pricing and has formulas for everything, and she's really good with all that kind of stuff. So check that out too, because that might be helpful for you as well. Just seeing what everyone else is doing out there.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sean.
Yeah, that's what I think is so cool about the flower community is there's so many different avenues that you're able to take. Again, it's what's going to work for you and what's going to make the most sense for you. And I think, like you said, having Allison Ellis, having her background with that, having different people speak on what's working is something that's wonderful. So it's about taking all that information and funneling it into what is going to work for you and your business and your demographic.
Yes, and Curate's here watching too, and they have a calculator too to help do markups on rentals. So check that out. They put that in the comments for you guys. And any of the links that I've been showing on the screen are in the comments below. So those are there for your reference. You can check them out anytime you are ready to do that. So thank you, Curate. We love Curate. Ryan O'Neill and his team, they're awesome. So check that out. They have lots of good stuff up on their blog too. Lots of always really good content.
Absolutely, always.
Yes. Okay. So my next question is from Tara. She wants to know, she says, I would be very interested in flower orders, when and how best to place them, how to make sure you have enough but not too much, curious how other florists interact with the vendors. I probably should have grouped this with the other question. My bad on that. But still a good question that we can answer.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think it depends on how busy this season is. Like typically, I know that there's more prominent seasons for weddings and stuff that happen.
Right.
I'm pretty bad about ordering my flowers. I do it way too late, but sometimes I'm really good and I can order it, 5 months out. And I'm like, this is kind of what I'm needing. This is the order. This is the quantity, all that fun stuff. And then, sometimes I book something last minute and I'm like, hey, I need X amount of flowers by this date. And Mayesh is always wonderful about getting it for me. So, I wouldn't recommend doing it early. I would recommend as soon as you kind of book your client, go ahead and get that together, because what happens is they're able to get the best products for you. They're able to order and source whatever they need to order, and they have the time and availability to do it. And when it comes to, making sure you have enough flowers, you can always have tons and tons of flowers. That's always a wonderful thing, but you want to make sure that you're not wasting money. So I think it's always beneficial to, again, communicate with your Mayesh rep. They are experts in what they're doing. They know quantities. They know what you're probably going to be needing. A lot of them have a design background. They used to either do weddings or they've, whatever it might be, they've kind of had this knowledge. So it's nice to be able to utilize them as a resource. That's what they're there for. They're more than just, getting orders for you. They're there to kind of help and guide and assist. I'd be lost without my reps. So I love being able to work with them and say, this is what I'm looking at, and this is the budget. This is where we're at. And it's really, really beneficial. So yeah, that's wonderful. So I think that's kind of the best thing that you guys can do is honestly utilize your Mayesh reps. So
Yeah, I totally agree. And, I love the idea, like once you book your wedding and you know what you need, then to go ahead and put that order in. The earlier you can do it, honestly, the better. Obviously we're going to try and help with those last minute things. Last minute stuff happens, but I do think that maybe some of you guys just procrastinate a little bit too.
We're creative, Yvonne. Leave us alone.
So, and we get it, right?
Me, you guys. They've been talking about me somewhere.
I'm just saying when we procrastinate, it puts a strain on the entire system, and mistakes happen or things don't go as smoothly or whatever. You know how it is. It trickles down. It has a trickle down effect. So
it's a learning process. So just get in the habit of just ordering it. And again, I ordered honestly for like a wedding like a week beforehand. Like don't ever do that. It puts a strain on everything.
2 weeks at a minimum. Obviously, we'll take it the week before if that happens, right? Last minute stuff does happen, but
don't make a habit of it.
I don't think, I think a lot of the stuff we do get early, and we would love to know about those orders way in advance. It just helps everything go smoothly, and it doesn't put as much pressure on everyone else that has to deal with that. Cause it gets into the hands of like our whole entire company, like our managers and the purchasing department, like, and each branch typically has a purchasing person, but then we also have a corporate purchasing. And so it hits, and then the logistics of getting it in on time and all of that fun stuff. So, yeah. That's
a lot. Get it in sooner the better.
Yeah. So Tara, I love that question. And if you are listening, because it's such a lovely question and it would help us a lot, send me in your address and a phone number. I need that for shipping. I'm not going to call you, I promise. But not unless you want me to, I can call. But yeah, send me in your information. I'll send you one of these. Oh, wait, I always get confused when I'm on video. Okay.
You're good. You can see the whole thing. You're good.
Yeah. One of our lovely Travel Mornings with Mayesh mugs. So I'll send that one to you if you want. All right. Love it. Lori says, floral designers procrastinate? No.
I'm telling y'all, it's a sickness. It's bad. Don't get in the habit of it.
No, procrastinate. It does affect everything down the line. And I'm married to one of the branch managers, and they really, really care about the flowers and the orders and trying to make everyone happy. And he loses sleep sometimes. I'll say that. Okay? So, he really, really cares, and everyone in the company cares. So I'm looking out for my husband here, guys. Okay, so Rick also is asking, does Mayesh have a minimum for shipping orders? And so, Rick, there isn't a technical minimum, but it just also depends on where you're at and who you're shipping from. So we ship out of Miami, typically for the east side of our country, and then we ship out of LA for the west part of our country, because that makes sense with time zones and shipping costs and all that fun stuff for you guys. But it really just depends, because you want to get the most bang for your shipping dollars, right? Flowers, it costs money to ship. And you don't want
to spend the same amount of shipping that you are on flowers. You want to make sure that it's like, it's a good ratio.
Yeah, so they're the best ones to answer that question. And again, I think it just has a bunch of different factors. So they're the one that you need to talk about. With that. And if you don't have a shipping rep, I'm just plugging Mayesh. I'm sorry if this seems, I feel like I'm just a commercial today.
It's helpful because it's not, people get to like see exactly what they've been looking for, and they get to find those links. This is wonderful. I love it.
Thank you. So if you don't have a Mayesh rep yet because you're not a customer, hold on, I think I just have a bunch of stuff in this line. Okay, here we go. So if you're looking to start working with Mayesh and you're not a customer, you don't have a rep or anything, you've never registered, go ahead and visit us and register. Jen, she's on my team. She's the one that, goes through everything. We really try to make sure that we're working with floral professionals, not just some Joe Schmo off the street who's trying to save money and go around you guys. Just so you know. So it is a process, and we ask for a lot of information because it is B2B, and we don't want to get fined by the IRS for not having your paperwork done and your resale license. Like, we're very thorough. And so there's been people that have complained about my registration process that we've put together, but there is a reason.
You just gotta do it once. You just gotta do it once. Like,
yeah, exactly. We ask for a lot of information and you got to upload your forms and fun stuff like that. But I promise it's worth it. So you do it once, you're done, you're in our system. Jen approves you. You get sent out to a branch, to your rep, and they reach out, and then you guys start working together, making some flower magic together. It's easy peasy, promise.
Absolutely.
Okay. Our next question, and we're doing good on time, so we're going to be able to I think, take a few questions that you guys are posting here too.
Love it.
Tara, we already did Tara, right?
I think we're on Anna. Yeah,
yes, we're on Anna. Yes. How do you account for staffing, labor, and delivery in scenarios for weddings that require at least 3 hours of travel?
Yeah, I do that. I do that. So I think you gotta factor in. I typically do hours worked, is what my freelancers get paid. So like travel time, if it's outside of like the Atlanta perimeter, I pay for their travel, which is, I think in Atlanta or something, it's like 56 cents a mile. So I factor that into my staffing and labor. I also provide like a per diem if it's going to be something that's like overnight. Typically 3 hours away, we require like a hotel or an Airbnb. So with that, I do have a per diem that I also have for my freelancers. That way they can get food. I don't have to worry about feeding everybody. They're able to kind of get all that stuff taken care of. Also for your client, you want to make sure that you factor in like your rental vans. If you guys are using a rental van or you're using your own personal van, factoring in gas. Those are really, really kind of key. I'm sorry, you can hear my dog squeaking down here.
Your dog's squeaking. Mine is, he's stuck in the kitchen right now.
I've been feeding him treats down here so he stays quiet.
Yes.
But yeah, I think it's when it comes to 3 hours worth of travel, you just need to make sure that you factor in hotel and gas per diem, and then factor in hours worked for your people. So again, I would factor in their gas as a means of payment and compensation, but that's a lot less than factoring in their price per hour to travel. So that's just something that I would do, and something that I do on a regular basis.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you, John. Very good. Okay, so our next question is a marketing type question from Carice. She wants to know, she says, I have been in the wedding flower business for just under 1 year and business is still very slow. Do you have any recommendations on how to book more weddings? I have Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, a website, and some styled shoots already. And her other question is there free or low cost advertising that works for wedding floral design?
For sure. That's a really, really good question. I feel like a lot of people, that's like resonates with them because they are starting out and they don't know kind of where to begin. I think low cost is kind of, subjective. I always say investment is key, especially if you're doing anything education or in your own business. You want to make sure that you're investing something in order to get something back. It's an input-output kind of, mentality. So I say, Instagram is a humongous component. I book literally I think my analytics are like 91.8% of my clients come from my Instagram page, and the rest of them are through like word of mouth. So utilize social media. I know that you said you're already doing that, but post daily, engage with people. That's a huge, huge component. Also, make sure that you're like talking to planners and talking to photographers. There's no like big secret to what you need to be doing. And it's literally just creating engagement and talking with people who you want to work with. So that's kind of like the best thing that I would say when it comes to like a low or like, I guess a low cost advertisement thing, Instagram, like sponsored posts, whatever that thing is. Yep. Those are wonderful. I've done those in the past. They're really, really helpful, especially engagement season's coming up right now. Like everyone's about to get engaged. This is the time where you're going to want to invest a little bit. Again, it doesn't have to be a lot. I know $300 could be a lot for some people, but again, $50, $25, something where people are able to see your brand a little bit more. And then from there, you can take those analytics and you can trickle them down a little bit more. The people who watch those full videos, the people who've seen all that stuff and they keep going back to your page, you can retarget those and then spend another $25 to get those. So it's literally, that's really helpful. Also, marketing when it comes to like emails, getting people's emails, that's like the number one money maker. If you can, how many times have you guys been on your email and you like we're on jcrew.com, you're like, oh, 50% off, cool. And you're like, you had no idea that was going on until you read your email. So that's something that you can do as well. Is email marketing is free and it is something that you're able to utilize as well. So
yes,
I hope that helps you there. That's a great question, Chris. I so appreciate that.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add on to that too a little bit too, because I feel like a lot of people will do Instagram and they might have a website, might not be really connected at all. You want to make sure that you have links there that people can get a hold of you. And then you need to get people into your funnel, so to speak, you know, absolutely. Or your wheel, whatever you want to call it. And, you know, and so, yeah, you got to get that email address. You need a form. You need something for them to fill out. So that way you have that information and you can use it to market to them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and getting key pieces of information so that way you know what to say to them too.
Yeah,
you have more than
when they're giving you your email. I mean, they're interested. They're interested in what you have to do. I mean, I don't give my email to things that I don't care about, but the things that I want to stay updated with, they're giving it to you. So I think that's key. Just make sure that you have those emails as well.
Yeah, yeah, love it. Very good, very good. All right, let's hit up a few questions that we have. All right, this one is from Cindy. She says, do you have any advice on participating in a bridal wedding show?
Yeah, make sure it's worth your time. You know, I think that oftentimes people just kind of go and just kind of hang out, and they already have their vendors in mind, but it's just something to do for a weekend event. But make sure that it's going to be worth your allotment. You know, I've heard plenty of horror stories where people have been burned because they've received very little ROI on what they were investing in, and you know, nothing came from it. But then also I've heard people receiving amazing benefits. So I think make sure that you're looking into the details of it all, making sure that it's going to be kind of your clientele. It's going to be kind of your, you know, aesthetic, your design, people that you want to be working with. Those are huge kind of components, because if you're just going to, you know, if you for instance, if your minimum to work with you is like $10,000, whatever it might be, and majority of the brides there are spending $1,000 on their flowers, you know, that's not really your market. So you want to really make sure that you're kind of looking into it before you sign up for anything. So, yeah,
I think that's really great advice. Very good. All right. So our next question is this another Yvonne or the same Yvonne? Okay. It says, what types of shipping do you provide next day, overnight for West Coast? So if you're on the West Coast, Yvonne, it just depends on where you're at and where, you know, I'm not sure. So we do overnight FedEx. There's a lot of times they work with special truck lines to truck it in. We oftentimes ship on airline. So it just depends on your needs, where you're at, and all of that fun stuff. So again, your rep is the best person to talk to make sure that they get you the best shipping for your needs. They're very good at that. That's absolutely. All right, so let me keep on going. Oh, just a dog question because we all love
he's right here. He's just playing with me right now, so I'm sorry.
Yeah, RSVP40 says, the cutest. My dog jumped up hearing the squeak. I love it. Super I love cute. It. Another shipping question. Do you ship to Western Canada, Adele? And I believe that we do. Canada has some different stipulations, all that fun stuff. And I know a lot of our Canadian shipments come out of Miami, actually. So maybe reach out to them. I think that would be a good thing to do. All right. This is a long one. Would love to ask if you're willing to share what is something that you do that you feel is unique to your service that you provide. Is it a special arrangement you deliver to a mother of the bride, a thank you card after wedding for their business, etc.? Just curious.
That's a sweet question, Maggie. So nothing before. Well, if I'm for certain clients, if they're kind of investing a larger number, I always send like a little thank you, like gift box to them, just like a little something that I've picked up, like a little candle or a little soap, a little book, whatever it might. I don't know why I kept saying little, but you know, whatever it might be, something to make them feel appreciated for, you know, working with me. And then I typically take a Polaroid on the day of the wedding. I have like my Polaroid camera right here. So I'll take a Polaroid of them, her and her fiance, and I send it to them on their 1-year anniversary. So that's something that they get to look back. And then also, I mean, in a selfish way, it's like more free advertisement because they post on their Instagram and they're like, "Oh, Shean Strong's so sweet," and they're like, "Who's Shean Strong?" And they're like, "Oh, I love his flowers." So it's like I think it's all about making sure that you are making those cyclical kind of cycles. If you're going to give something, making sure that it's going to be branded properly or show who you are. But yeah, that's a great question and a great thing to do for people to make sure that they feel appreciated and special.
So good. Love it, love it, love it. Our next question is from Michelle. Any advice on how to design faster? I end up faffing and taking all day on bouquets and arrangements.
Practice. I mean, depending on what you're doing, I don't know what you're doing right now, Michelle, but like I said, some people I know they design and they have they green out on certain days and then they play with their flowers on the other day. And they kind of design that direction. I do everything all at once. So I do green and flower all the same day. So I think you're just kind of finding a groove that works for you. Practice is key. If you're kind of slow, it might be because you're still trying to learn something or you're still trying to figure out how to really build your design aesthetic. Again, I don't know you, Michelle. I don't know how long you've been doing this, but this sounds to me like you might be pretty intro to this. So I would just say practice, honestly, and that's such a generic response, but yeah, just practice at it.
Yeah.
So.
Christy, our design star from a couple of years ago, she said on regular bouquet, she goes pretty fast. On her bridal bouquet, though, she doesn't ever rush herself. She wants it to be complete perfection. Sometimes she'll even start over. She's very particular sometimes about things. And so she's, she tells everyone, you know what, it's okay. And she goes slow once in a while.
Absolutely.
Obviously, time is money, so she doesn't want to be slow all the time. You guys don't want to be slow all the time. But if there's something that you just want it to be perfect.
Yeah, and I think that's a perfect example. Bridal bouquets that's the picture that's going to be framed above the fireplace. That's what you want to take your time on. So that's fine. I think whenever we start getting into the habit that everything's got to be perfect, when you look at big, grand picture of everything, it all comes together beautifully. So take your time on the things you need to take your time on and just kind of, speed through the things that you're able to speed through on.
Yeah. But I like what you said. You'll get faster as time goes on. And also one of Christy's thing was it doesn't have to be perfect to be beautiful. I was like, I love that saying.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We need to make t-shirts with that on it.
So cute.
Very good. Okay. So let's see. Our next question is from Andrea. She said, would you recommend chicken wire for garlands also? While Sean is handling, I'm guessing his puppy, let me just mention, we have a garland guide, guys. So not necessarily on design mechanics, but about the greenery and things like that. So obviously a lot of you guys like to make your own garlands, but we also make them here in-house custom for you. You can do different lengths, different greens, all that kind of fun stuff. So definitely I'm putting in the comments, check out all of our educational downloads, including garlands. But here's the question for Sean. Chicken wire.
Yeah, sorry about that. My computer about died on me. So yeah, when it comes to Yvonne, you answered the question. I don't ever make garlands. It's not worth my time. Right. So I would rather just buy them from Mayesh and knowing that they're gonna. I actually just did it this two weekends ago. I did some bay leaf and olive, and it came in beautifully. It came in a big old box. I just kind of looked at it, make sure it was good to go, counted it all out, put it back in the box, and just put it in the van. So that's kind of the best scenario. If you're going to be making chicken wire, or if you're going to be making garlands, chicken wire sometimes can be a little crazy when you're doing it. So I just typically will just zip tie pieces together. But yeah, that's so time consuming, and I'd rather pay the additional little bit of money to have, Mayesh send them to me. So.
Thanks, Sean.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for answering that question while my computer was dying.
Of course. Okay, so I think this will be our last question for the day. Monique wants to know, what do you use for bridal party bouquet transportation?
Great question. There is a vessel that I love at Hobby Lobby. It is I can kind of draw a little picture out for you. It's almost like a milk jug. but it has like it kind of looks like this. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
So it has like a wider rim mouth, and it kind of comes into a little point, and then it gets a little bit wider down below. It's like $8.99. They're amazing. You can get them for 50% off, like the majority of the time. So you're spending like $5, you know, on these vessels. But they hold the flowers, and they have support around the top so that the flowers are not getting in the water. And then also when I'm transporting, I go ahead and cut the ribbon and I tie it around that little neck. That way I know the ribbon's already there while I'm transporting. So yeah, they're wonderful.
Awesome. Thanks, Sean.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Well, guys, that's a wrap for today's show. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you, Sean. You're very welcome. Always rock the show. I love having you on.
I love being here. Thank you.
Yeah, so for next month, I don't know a date. I have a couple of special guests that have reached out and want to be on the show, so we're trying to figure that out. There's traveling and holidays. I know there will be a show. I just don't know when yet. So I'm trying to finalize that. I will let you guys know. So make sure you stay tuned. And again, thanks for joining us. I will see you soon. And everyone have a rocking day. Take care. Bye, everyone.
Bye, you guys. Thank y'all so much.